So welcome back to the Ground Cinnamon. Today's recipe is going to be a dessert. That's right, we've made so many savory dishes, it was really time to up the dessert game. What I'm going to be making today is called a damroot. Now a damroot very broadly is a halwa and it gets baked. So the eventual product comes out like this lovely little cake of sorts. Now it's a very easy recipe. The ingredients are really simple. And my favorite part is it's not very laborious. The oven does most of the work. Now you know I love some good food history. So a damroot originates in Tamil Nadu. But the version that you get in Tamil Nadu is very different from the version I'm going to be showing you here. The Tamil Nadu version is made of rice flour, semolina and coconut milk. That's right, it has a very coconutty taste. On the other hand, this one's made of pumpkins, semolina and evaporated milk. Regardless, both are delicious, they're great fun to eat and they go with most Indian dishes. The primary ingredient of a damroot is a pumpkin. Now you could really use any pumpkin, including the yellow pumpkin. It'll give you a bright, gorgeous yellow color. But flavor wise, and also most commonly, you'd want to use the ash gourd, aka winter melon. Now this is a 2 kilogram piece of ash gourd. But by the time I get rid of the seeds and I get rid of the skin, the weight is going to go down considerably. So say it's going to go down to about 1.5 kilos of peeled ash gourd. Here I have some dry fruits, cashews, raisins and watermelon seeds. These are about 60 grams each. I really love watermelon seeds. Now before anything else, you want to de-seed this, and you can do this using a large spoon and follow it up by peeling the pumpkin. Now it is best to cut this into smaller, more workable pieces, and peeling is not just getting rid of the outer layer. You want to go a couple of layers deep. You see this layer just under the skin. Now this really doesn't break down regardless of the time you cook this. So don't worry about losing too much flesh, but go a little deeper and get rid of that also. Using a box grater, you want to grate this pumpkin. Now damroot is really about this mild stringy texture, so keep it nice and long. Here is 1/3 cup of ghee, and before frying off this grated ash gourd, I want to fry off these nuts. Now frying nuts is going to add so much more flavor. Now you could do this in the oven and roast them, but frying really is so much better. But while you fry, you want to be a little careful because these take less than 15 seconds to fry off. In fact, the raisins take less than 5 seconds. This procedure can definitely be done in some oil, but who are we kidding? Ghee equals flavor. Now before you add the ash gourd to the ghee, you want to drain out as much liquid as possible. Now you could drain all the liquid using a muslin cloth, but hands work pretty fine. So once drained, you want to add the ash gourd to the same pot and you want to let this cook for at least 20 minutes or until you feel the ash gourd has lost most of its moisture. The gourd has been cooking off for 20 minutes. I feel the water has completely vaporized. So into this, I'm going to add a cup full of sugar. Now this is going to aid the cooking process further. It's going to break down the gourd further. Along with this, I'm going to add some aroma. So this is 2 pods of cardamom. Don't forget to puncture them, and 1 star anise. Now I want the flavors to be mild, so don't add powdered cardamom, keep them whole. So what I find very interesting about this dish is you can stop the cooking procedure and get serving at 3 different stages. This is one of the stages. So if you cook off the ash gourd completely, add the nuts, finish off with some ghee, it would be a fantastic dessert. But it wouldn't be a damroot. Now if you replace the ghee with some oil, that's right, it would be a vegan dessert. Let's move on to the second set of ingredients. Here I have 1/2 cup of sugar, 1/4 cup of ghee, 1/2 teaspoon of saffron essence. Now ideally you'd use 5 strands of saffron, a teaspoon of vanilla. Again, ideally you'd use half a vanilla pod, and some khoa. Now khoa is simply evaporated milk. The cooking is still about 5 to 6 minutes away. In the meantime, I'm going to bring all of these other ingredients together. Now the khoa is not going to come together because it's really hard, so ideally you should grate it. After which you want to add the sugar, ghee and the essence. Now if you don't have khoa, don't worry. you can replace this 400 grams of Khoa and this half a cup of sugar with 400 mils of condensed milk. The product's going to be exactly the same. Now the reason I like using Khoa over condensed milk is because it gives me control over how much sugar goes into the halwa. The gourd and sugar have been going for about 5 minutes, and at this stage you want to add a very important ingredient, and that is 2 tablespoons of semolina. The semolina is going to bring everything together. It's extremely important, so don't miss it. I was about to. And once you've cooked off the semolina for about a minute or so, you want to add the Khoa mixture. You want to let the Khoa break down completely, to melt completely and begin to thicken up. As the Khoa completely breaks down and liquidizes, you want to add the dried fruit. Mix it in and let it continue to simmer. In the meantime, you want to prepare for the most important part of the Damrut, and that is the baking. You want to make a bake dish, a cake tin, or in this case, a bundt pan. You want to grease your baking apparatus well so the halwa doesn't stick to it whilst in the oven. If you're using a baking dish or even a cake tin, you could even line it with butter paper or aluminium foil. And now a final piece of trivia. This is the stage you can even temper in a couple of eggs. If you do add a couple of eggs, it's going to aid the baking process. The baked product is going to come out better, it's going to come out smoother. But of course, it's not mandatory. But this is the fascinating bit. We spoke of a potential vegan version earlier. What I've made is a lacto-vegetarian version, and there's a potential over-lacto-vegetarian version. Once your halwa has reached a sort of a thick, jammy consistency, you want to take it off the heat and pour it into your mold. Again, this is another stage. You can simply stop the cooking and serve it as is, but it wouldn't be a Damrut. This will go into a 180 degrees centigrade preheated oven for 30 to 35 minutes. What you're really looking for is this top layer here to be completely caramelized. It is this caramelization that really defines a Damrut for me. If not, it's simply not one. And 30 minutes later, that caramelized layer is all that you're looking for. I'm going to turn this over and look at that gorgeousness. Now I'm going to make this even more pretty. I'm going to give it a glaze. I'm going to give it a glaze of condensed milk. Now condensed milk is a little too sweet, it's a little too thick, so I'm going to tone it down very mildly with some cream. Now just to bring it together, I'm going to warm it up very slightly, just lukewarmish. Don't boil it. And once it's come together, it's time to get pouring. And finally, I'm going to garnish this with some broken pistachios, some thyme. Now the thyme is really going to help break the monotony of this sweetness. Some rose petals, dried rose petals, to add some beautiful aroma. And this is what we call in Bangalore Killer Macha. And there you have it, a very beautiful and gorgeous Damrut. Now through the video, I have obsessed over the caramelized layer, and I kid you not, there are sweetmeat shops in Bangalore that would charge you extra for the caramelized layer, so you know how much it's worth. Finally, do make it at home, and if you want to support the Ground Cinnamon, do hit the subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching.